today. We're going to touch on quite a few issues. I want to thank Mr. Perrin Lance for covering quite a bit, for stealing most of my presentation today. Did a great job. But we need to talk a little bit more about the human side of what has happened here in Chattanooga. And I brought some folks with me today. If you all don't mind, can y'all just bring your chair up here and just have a seat up here with me and join me on the platform here. The two ladies in the back and Mr. Gil Shropshire. Understand a little bit about what has happened here. I feel it's necessary to define urban renewal. Urban renewal of a city area is renovation or replacing dilapidated buildings with new housing, public building parks, roadways, industrial areas, etc., often in accordance with comprehensive plans that take years to develop. The programs are designed to clear and rebuild or redevelop urban slums. We all agree with that. And Chattanooga has done a great job with removing a great deal of our urban slums. However, it has caused other problems for the most protected citizens in this city. And I think we can see it every day when we turn on the news in Chattanooga. I think we can see it every day when we see blood spilled on the streets of our children. Every day. And this is something that we have to address here in the city of Chattanooga, is how do we deal with a city that wants to grow and is growing and is seen all over the world as being a very good place to live, yet deal with poverty and deal with housing for low income and not leave them out of the plan. How do we deal with that? Well, we know that over the past 10 years, over probably 2 or 3 housing projects have been shut down, closed down. And where has that left the most protected class of people? Where are they? Who knows? We do not have a comprehensive plan from the housing authority to deal with where these people are going to go, if the children are in communities where they have access to equitable education, if these people are being moved to housing conditions that are better or at least equal to where they have been replaced. And we also know that the waiting list in most cases to get in housing is 6 months to a year or more. And if you have a Section 8 voucher, which some of these people are being given, we also know that there is a big problem with finding Section 8 homes, even though they hold the vouchers. So we have a serious problem of homelessness here in Chattanooga. Make no mistake about it. And a lot of the people that are doing the planning in this city, unfortunately, have been desensitized, or they're not sensitive to the needs of the most vulnerable people in this city. And because of that, we are experiencing something on the other side of town. And I like to call Chattanooga the tale of 2 cities. The side that deals with poor folks and the side of Chattanooga that deals with wealthy folk. And there's nothing in between. There's nothing in between. And every time I stand up and give a testimony or talk, I'm always put on a microscope. So let it be known today, because we have a lot of leaders here today in the community that, in the words or in the spirit of Harriet Tubman, I'm going to hear the dogs, but I'm going to keep on running. I'm going to hear the dogs, but I'm going to keep on running till our people are free. At least given an opportunity to thrive in one of the best cities in this country. Our people, and I'm not just talking about African Americans, I'm talking about Hispanics, I'm talking about any minority or poor person that has been deprived of equal opportunity to education, equal opportunity to housing, equal opportunity to economic growth. These are the people that have built our country. And these are the people that need to be protected in our city. Because these are the people that will determine the destiny of this entire city at some point in time. At some point in time, crime spills over into Ooltewah. Crime spills over into Lookout Mountain. Crime spills over into East Ridge and all these other fancy places that we like to live. I live in Noodlewalla. But at some point in time, we have to deal with it. And in the process of dealing with it, there are some basic things that we have to do on the human rights side of things. And that is to protect those who cannot protect themselves. So we have some people here today, and I tell you what, I'm a mother of three. And I was born and raised in Chattanooga, and I love my city. I'm not going anywhere. I love my city. Some of us have been transported into Chattanooga or transplanted. But I was born and raised here. I am 48 years old. I went off to school for 8 years and I came back because I wanted to give it back to my community. And it saddens me at 48 years of age, when I look at my community, it's worse today than it was when I left. There's something inherently wrong with this picture here. There's something wrong. And I love the fact that Dr. McDaniel has been on this race for a long time. And some of the other leaders, Mr. Mapp, have been on this race for a long time. But now you're talking about my future. And you're talking about my children's future. So no disrespect to you, but I got to take the torch. And those in my age group and my children have to take the torch, because it's time for us to make a move. It's time for us to make a move. And I hate to say it, but sometimes the outcome of a move is not always pleasant. But something has to be done. When I get a call in the middle of the night that a young woman is being put out of her housing project with 4 children and nowhere to go, or when I get a call in the middle of the day after church where a young lady has been put out of her house with 3 children and nowhere to go, and I run to the housing project and their things are being put out on the street with nothing in place, nowhere for these people to go, with little children crying, tears streaming down their face because they're watching their mother, things being put out on the street by the sheriff, and then other people's coming by picking it up and stealing it as soon as they put it out. There's something wrong with this picture. If there's nothing in place, that when a young poor mother with children are put out of a housing project with nothing in place, no resources given to this person, where they can pick up the phone 30 days before they know they're going to be evicted and find some resources or some help so that they won't be put on the street. Everybody don't have a family here that they can go to. Everybody don't have a friend house that they can stay at for a length of time until they get it right. This young lady right here who's going to testify had 3 children, was put out in the middle of nowhere with nothing and nowhere to go. And somebody that I called let her stay in their place for 5 months, never seen her, didn't know if she was good or bad. But she let her stay in her house. The other person is homeless too. She's crying now. She's scared to death to get up here. But you know what I said? I said, God is with you. And I'm going to put myself on the line right here today. I'm letting you know I'm putting myself on the line. Until all these issues are resolved in this city, ain't nothing good going to happen in Chattanooga. Because it's one section of the people of this city is being done the way that these young women, and many, many more, I got a whole list of folks have been done wrong, and these children are homeless in Chattanooga, homeless. So I don't want to really hear about affordable housing. I really don't want to hear about how good Chattanooga is doing. I don't want to hear about the River City project. I don't want to hear about it. I want to know, what are you going to do about the protected class of people in this city that nobody has seemed to think about them in the comprehensive plan when they tore down the housing project? Not 1 or 2 or 3 units built to replace them. So where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? What part of the comprehensive plan, what part of urban renewal was planned for these people when you tore down their housing projects? We've got homelessness here in this city, and we've got to deal with it. Let's talk about the economic situation. I wear several hats. One is I'm a dentist. I was up at 6 o'clock this morning pulling a full mouth set of teeth and replacing those teeth with an immediate denture so I could get here by 9:30. And another hat is in the community with the All Park Development Corporation, which, by the way, was one of the 3 partners in the Hope 6 project. Now, I'm going to try not to go there very long because it just hardens me to know that $35 million came in this city and $35 million went out of the city, and the city is still destructed. Well, the city in Alton Park is one of the worst places to live with no economic growth, barely any housing. And the houses that are there are dilapidated. 23 on one street, dilapidated and boarded up, and 19 on another street, dilapidated and boarded up. And when I was there yesterday, shots rang out for about 20 minutes. Just shooting down the street. It's like going through Beirut.
I'll give you a call back. I'll give you a call back.
So while we are smiling and joyous on one side about the progress of Chattanooga, that's one city. Let's talk about the human civil rights being violated on the other side. Alton Park, no elementary school, no middle school. Let's not talk about Calvin Johnson. It's now what you call what is it? A magnet school. We don't have a middle school. The parents can't participate in PTA most of the time. They don't have transportation, and their kids are being bused 20 to 25 miles in some cases. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about Alton Park Development Corporation, which has been around since 2000, cannot get funded to help these people. We're going to change that. We got no solution to get these people back in a home. Nothing on the table. Nothing on the table. So here's some of the problems. I'm sorry. People tell me I'm emotional.
Go ahead.
Gentrification and discrimination. They should go hand in hand, but it does here. It does here. The fact that private dollars that we have, and we're not going to call them names, but we all know, if you lived here long enough, you know what private dollars I'm talking about, are being leveraged with federal HUD dollars to push the agenda to renew the communities in the way that they want it to be renewed, is at some point in time, or has currently caused discrimination on a class or a race of people. And this discrimination has caused some of the outcomes of what you see. I don't care how many police officers you put on the street. I don't care. You're not going to have any success with poverty being the common denominator. We have got to get training in place, vocational training. We have got to open up economic opportunities, bring growth and development to these neighborhoods that are now classified as being the worst of the worst, producing the worst of the worst. How do you make the worst of the worst better? You got to put money in it. You got to put money in it. So these private dollars need to be equalized out a little bit better if they're going to use federal dollars to help move their agenda. So this is what's happening. Higher crime rates, inferior education, inferior housing conditions, economic depression, lack of economic growth, oppression, depression, and in some cases suicide. That's what's happening. That's what's happening in Chattanooga. So you put more cops, you just have mass incarceration. That's not a solution. That's a Band-Aid. We don't need to see any more of our kids killed on the street, nor do we need to see more men and women put in jail for lack of opportunity. That's what it's called. Lack of opportunity and oppression. I never witnessed slavery. Don't want to witness slavery. But if it's anything worse than what we see in here in our city, I hope I never do. We have to get better. And I want to thank all the good people that have poured out their help and their love and support to these communities. That's what's making a difference. Black people, white people, yellow people, red people. They see what's happening. We need everybody at the government level to see what's happening and do something about it. So I want Mr. Gil Shropshire to come up very briefly and just kind of give a 1 to 2 minute synopsis of what's going on in his community, and then a 1 or 2 synopsis from the 2 young ladies, Karen and Christy, of what happened to them and why this was a very unfortunate situation that could have been handled if paperwork was done right, if management was done right. They wouldn't be homeless. Mr. Shropshire.
Good evening. I'm the president of the Olive Oak County Wood Neighborhood Association. I've only been in this position for more about 7 or 8 years.
Shropshire, could you put it closer to your mouth and we can hear it better?
I used to be in up front like this.
Sorry.
I might shoot from the hip then because I didn't have nothing prepared for them once I found out that they wanted me to speak about the neighborhood. My father moved us out in Autumn Park in 1955. In 1955, Autumn Park had schools, they had nice playground, rec centers, grocery stores. Over the course of the years, they started first they took the schools away. There was the Frank Trotter School that went from the 1st to the 6th grade. Okay, they took that away. Then it was Autumn Park Junior High, which they turned over to, came to be known as Franklin Junior High. That was a school that went from the 7th to the 9th. And then from the 10th on, you went to Howard. But the point is that when they started taking them schools out, we started having a lot of problems. When my father moved us out there, I was 5 years old. I was there when they built Piney Woods. I was there when they built Arden Terry. I was there when they built Willow Homes. I played in all those areas. And at once upon a time, Willow Homes was one of the best places in the city that the seniors could live. I mean, it was real nice out there. Piney Woods, when they built Piney Woods, oh, it was real nice out there. I mean, it was just a real nice community. Everybody looked out for everybody. If you did something wrong, and that lady over there, that man over there told you, hey, you don't need to do that, and if you smart, if you mouthed at them, you know, it was just, you had mothers and fathers everywhere in the community. Everybody looking out for everybody. But now, it seems like as we got older, then it's like they're trying to wait for the seniors that watched us grow up. It's like they're trying to wait on them to die because they don't want no help. If I hadn't got in this position I'm in now, I knew some of what was going on, but I didn't know it to this extent, how it is. There's people out there that I talk to, the seniors that looked out for us, that living in homes that they need roof repair. They need windows replaced because of the cold weather and because of the hot weather. They got floors. I even talked to family members that got sagging floors that they scared to walk on. I have went to meetings that's supposed to have been going to fund the low-income people and the seniors on helping them get some relief on their houses, help on their houses. But what senior citizen is going to sign a new mortgage? You got to, in order to get money, it's as much as $250,000. But what senior is going to take and put her house or his house up for to borrow some money on a house that you done already paid for? It don't make no sense. When we got grants out there that can help these people, we have went to the city with different kind of proposals to where we can be sustainable enough to make our own money. I asked them now, I come to find out the organization hasn't been legalized but more than, what, 2 or 3 years?
Which one, yours?
Yeah, I was on board. No more than 2 or 3 years, but we've been going to meetings for years. And then I also found out that if they had just even, who was getting our tax money that's supposed to be coming back out to our community, that could have been seed money to get the neighborhood up and running. Don't nobody know where it's at. I pray the city is holding it for us. We don't know. Don't nobody know what's going on. When you go and ask your elected official, what's the plan for Alden Park, Pine Woods? And also I'm speaking for Willow Homes, and East Lake asked me to speak for them too, because they're going through the same problem that we're going through. That, you know, when your elected official cannot tell you what is the plan for your community, then you know something ain't right. Now, they St. Elmo, for instance, they had already cluttered up. They invited me to a meeting about what they want to do out there in St. Elmo. St. Elmo got so much clutter out there that even the neighbors don't want no more out there. They want to put a hotel out there. I said, why are you going to put a hotel out here in St. Elmo when you ain't got no place to put no hotel? And the people telling you they don't want the hotel, how come you can't move over and put it in Pine Woods? Pine Woods got plenty of land. It's a company that the last person that was over the neighborhood association, it normally takes 2 to 3 years to get a permit, okay, to get some things done, to get a company going. Now, how come Alden Park, after 50 years, how come Alden Park is the only community, Alden Park, Pine Woods, and East Lake is the only communities that whenever they're going to bring something in, we have never had a voice on it. Just like with this new Savage yard they bring in, but they want to say it's a recall, it's a recycle center, but it's a Savage yard. Whereas they're going to be bringing in cars where you can take the parts off yourself and then they'll haul them out. But how come we did not have a chance to voice on this? I found out about 2 or 3 years, about 2 years ago. I can't say nothing about the business because I own a Savage yard before I retired. So it's good money, but still, the people should have had a choice, especially when you're going to come in and buy over 82 acres of land in one area, and don't nobody know whether you're going to hire the people from Alden Park or not, or what they're going to be all about. Something just ain't right. Why do they always want to take our money and scatter it all over the city? That's just the truth.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think you can understand from the passion that these poor communities have no voice in what goes on in their communities. And oftentimes, the decisions that are made come from the outside versus the inside. And that leads to community continually going through this cycle, this vicious cycle of poverty with no solutions. And I know we're running out of time, but I did want to give these two young ladies an opportunity to come up and say one thing about what's happened to them. Can you come on up, Chrissy and Karen? Now, Chrissy, I held her for probably 30 minutes to an hour as she cried and wept because she had nowhere to go, no home to go. And a young man has allowed her stepfather, is that correct, to bring her and her 3 babies in 1 bedroom, 1 bed, until she can get on her feet. But she lost her home because she didn't do her community hours, because she didn't have a babysitter to watch her kids while she go out and do community hours. There's something wrong with that. Something wrong with that. Yeah. Don't be scared.
With the few minutes that I have, I just want to say I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I'm going to tell you something about this really long story. I came from Florida. I had been staying there for quite a while, and I came back to my mom. I went ahead and stayed, and I got a place at the Villages, and I noticed that I was getting picked on like right away. I don't want to sound like shallow or nothing, but I think because of the way I look. Some people may not deal with that. You may not have self-esteem issues where you pick on somebody because of how they look, but there are women out there that are vicious, and you know, it could be because of weight and somebody's smaller than they are and they're upset about it, or the way they look or whatever. And I suffer from that a lot. Women picking at me. I have no friends. It can go like, it can tear up your whole life. Like, I get picked on a lot, and I've been getting picked on by a lady at the office. staring me up and down, picking at me, calling me names. Why interning, I don't know. I'm just not, I don't like to fight. I don't like to deal with it. I just leave it in God's hands. I believe in that. I'm a Jesus freak, by the way. He probably thinks I'm a stalker. I don't know. But I give it to him and I leave it alone. And because I was so quiet and passive, she just kind of ran over that and began to pick on me. So when I got behind on my hours, it was really like a mercy call, very understandable story. I let her know that me being from Florida, it just all hell broke loose. Because of that, my stuff, my food stamps and everything, you have to have Chattanooga 10 care and food stamps to get the free daycare assistance. So Florida was taking like quite a while to send everything. Everything went downhill, and I explained that to them that I didn't have a sitter, and I got behind on hours. I did lie. I will say that I got so scared because I came, she was even one of the ladies at the shelter, I'm not sure of her name, but I was at Partnership Shelter, and I went through so much in that shelter that when I thought I may have to go back, I panicked. I basically hit the panic button. That's when I lost my mom at the shelter, so a lot of memories was there. And I was like, I can't go back there. So I panicked and I put down that I was fulfilling my hours and I wasn't. So for about 5 months, I was behind about 40 hours. And I basically asked them to have mercy on that and give me another chance. And the answer was just outright no. You know, they could have showed mercy, but it was just no. And it has been proven that I did a petition myself. And I was in the snow, like I was freezing, but I was knocking on those doors, and everybody's doors that I knocked on that was working, they wasn't going through any problems. People's doors that I knocked on that were, you know, so-called like, you know, not having it, they wasn't going through it either, because you kind of know who you can pick on and who's a lion and who's not. The people that weren't working were snatching me in the house like, yes, get in here. I'm going through this, I'm going through that. So we definitely called on that it was discriminatory towards the people who aren't working. And I kind of gave them the open door to throw me out when I missed those hours. It was like, oh, we got her, you know, you're out of here. So they could have gave me another chance, but their goal is to get the people that were not working out and put in people that are working. It's all about money. So, thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that is so true. And one of the ladies that is not here today said she moved from being number 140 on the waiting list in the housing project to number 20 when she showed that she had a disability check coming in for her and her son. And the lady told her it was because she had income that they would consider her over those who did not have income. Okay. And one more. Also held this lady right here in the housing project and watched her children cry as they put her things out on the street, and people were coming by picking up her furniture as they were putting it out, you know, and the kids were distraught. Some of the citizens of the city of Chattanooga with Concerned Citizens for Justice found her a place to stay with one of them for a period of about 5 months. Helped her raise money to get enough money to get her in another place so that she could move from being homeless to back to being independent. Are you staying with your grandmother, or are you back in your own place now? Okay, you're still staying with them? Okay, she hasn't moved. Okay, I thought she had moved. I'm sorry, so she's still homeless. And so we want to give her just a brief moment to explain very quickly what happened to you and your situation.
Good afternoon. I used to live in Willow Homes. I wished I would have stayed there. I ended up moving to Art Park Villages because Willow Homes was doing remodeling. And so they gave us a chance to get on Section 8. I got on Section 8, I moved to the Villages, I found a job. Well, I went back for my research with Section 8, and after I did my research, I was waiting to get a letter saying that my rent had went up. But I never received a letter, so at the time I was still paying the rent that they set when I moved there. Well, 2 months later, back in July of 2013, I got a letter from all the villages saying that I was $634 behind. So I went back to Section 8, and had a meeting with them because I was trying to find out why I never received my letter. And they told me it was not their fault that the post office didn't deliver my mail. And they told me to call the lady at the Villages and maybe she'll work out something with me. I called her, it was like she basically didn't care. She said she couldn't do nothing for me. So I started going to organizations trying to help, see if they can help me. And everybody told me that with the Villages, you can only help, they can only like help me if I come up with half of the money. So the money was, I mean, my rent was still getting behind because in August, the day I went back, August the 6th, I lost my job. So I was still trying to like find money and trying to raise money. I even asked some of my family members and didn't nobody help me. So in October, on the 14th, they came and they put my kids' stuff out, and all 3 of my kids was there. And my daughters didn't even understand what was going on because they just babies. And so Dr. Woods and the ladies from the CCJ went up to the office, even Skip Everhart, he was with us. We went up to the office to try to talk to the manager at the office. She called me in. I tried to talk to her, tried to see if I could do anything to keep my apartment. It was like she didn't care. Her heart was so cold. And it hurt my feelings just sitting there, just watching her like she didn't have no warmth in her. So I ended up going to live with Miss Janelle. And we started raising the money. So when my income tax came, I just paid off the lawyers. I was like, I'm tired of living with people. I just want my own place, baby. My kids is ready to go home to their own place. So now we got the lawyers paid off. We just waiting for Section 8 to put me in a relocation class so we can move back into our own place.
I just want to say one last thing. After they threw us out, they wiped my 11-year-old. They saw him crying. My house is a straight shot from the office, so they had to be peeking. The blinds were open. They knew exactly what they were doing. My son came out of the house crying. He just took off walking. One of the ladies came out and wiped his tears after she threw him out. I just wanted to know that. I just had to say that.
The thing about it is these young women have no advocates for them in housing. And when they're forced to go to court, they have no money to pay for attorneys. And they slap the attorney fees from the housing authority on top of what they say they owe. So the attorney fees that came from her income tax return that should be going to her children are going to high-powered gun attorneys from the housing authority. This is not right. This is not right. We need to set up an advocacy program for these young women so that when they're getting ready to be evicted, or some classes on how to manage their time and a counsel group to help these young women. Many need a lot of help. You're talking about some of the poorest people in our community with little or any education in some cases that need help. They need help. These are our people.
That's right.
These are our children. And this is our problem. It's not their problem alone. It's our problem. And we got to work on fixing this human insensitivity that lead our children homeless because of insensitivity. And back where I come from, when you're discriminated against because of the color of your skin, or who you are, on your economic background, racial, social, religious background, is wrong. It's wrong. Chattanooga, I pray for. This is my city. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here. And we're going to work through this together. I'm calling on justice. Thank you.